Oh, I love it. You don't have to ask speech people to talk too much. We got that covered. It's all about elevating our kids, our programs, our activity. We have to advocate harder for our activities than some of the maybe more athletic activities in our buildings. And when we have people with us in that circle to do so, it's easier. When you can reach out to other people and go, your AD says, well, what about so-and-so or another school? Give me a second, let me text a few people, let me call a few people, let me email a few people and give you some feedback on that. It's a lot easier. So hopefully, new coaches, you've got a better connection. Veteran coaches, you've maybe seen your people this morning, and judges, maybe you've seen some faces that are people that you can reach out for. So this morning, I'm going to focus on big picture, little picture, because sometimes I think we get in the weeds and we forget to look at the big picture of what we're doing, or we vice versa. We get so focused on the big picture that we forget the little details as well. And I want to start with the phrase that drives my life as a speech coach. Speech is what we do, not who we are. And it took me a long time to get to that point. Early on as a coach, I thought, I can do everything speech. I got to totally be in on this. If I want my program to succeed, I have to be 100% focused all the time on speech and building my program and doing this. And if my kids aren't meeting those expectations, I got to get after them. And all of a sudden, it was just like, it's too much. It's too much. It's too much to ask of one person or a program to constantly, be at that pinnacle. And once that's settled in my brain, speech is what we do, it's not who we are. It made a world of difference in my coaching and in my perspective on life. I am a speech coach. I'm also a teacher. I'm also a friend. I am an aunt to all of my friends' kids. I am a theater lover. I'm an avid sports fan. Those are other pieces of who I am. And if I'm only doing speech, I'm not feeding the rest of that. We have to make sure that we feed all of those pieces of ourselves. We have to make sure that speech is what we're doing. It's not our sole identity, because we're more than that. It's a bigger picture than that. And the same goes for our kids. Our kids are not professional speechers. They live in our activity for a few months out of the year. They're not professionals. They're teenagers. They're students. They're athletes. They're employees. They're siblings. They got a lot going on in their world. And when you can stop and reframe what they're doing or how that practice is going based on remembering something else maybe outside of the speech sphere, it changes how you coach. It changes how you judge when you remember that kids are also living in a bigger world than the activity. Yes, we want to be successful. Yes, you want to build your program. Yes, you want to grow. Kids first. Coach the humans first. Take care of you as a human first. And then let the rest of it happen from there. So there's some, big picture, hopefully, for new coaches, veteran coaches, just a reminder on who we are. From there, when we look at big picture, we've got to have structure. You need goals, you need, deadlines and due dates. You need those things so that your program can run fluidly. You need that as a coach, but so do your kids. Believe it or not, they need that structure. They don't know they need it, and they won't verbalize it to you. But when your routines are set and your schedules are set and your practice, plan is in order, they are so much more relaxed. They don't even know it. But then they can just fall right into those routines and hop into speech brain for the half an hour or hour that you get them in practice. And then, then hop back out and go to FFA or, church or basketball or whatever that might be. But those routines are necessary. That structure is huge. So we're going to give you some ideas this morning on how to structure. If you don't have any ideas on how to structure, but also if you've been doing this for a while, maybe a little point of reassessment. Value in the big picture. So new coaches, hopefully this will help you go, okay, maybe this is how I can start to move my program season by season by season. Ideas. Judges. So we've got some judges in the room as well. Maybe this will help you if you're wanting to get more connected to a program. Instead of simply judging, maybe say, hey, I've got some time, I'd like to maybe volunteer coach. We love those words, volunteer coach. We appreciate those people more than we can express. But then you can start to see, okay, maybe this is a time of year that I can reach out to them. Veteran coaches, I'm challenging you. I am very comfortable in the routines that I have established in my program. They work for me. However, it is important to step back and reassess. It's important to look at those things and go, okay, what if I've been doing this for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, is it still serving that purpose? Or is it time for me to think about something new? It's scary to change, I know. But it's okay to try. You can even try something that might boost your program in a new way. One of my favorite quotes by Rear Admiral Grace Hopper, the most dangerous phrase in the English language is, we've always done it this way. Consistency isn't a bad thing, but maybe try something different. And new coaches, I want to reiterate that to you as well. If you are stepping into a program in the shoes of maybe someone who's been there a long time, we can form a support group or something like that, because there's some of us that have had that experience as well. That you're going to hear that from kids. Well, that's not how we do that. That's not how that's not how the former coach did it. It's not about you. They're looking for that structure, and they're looking for what they're used to as change is happening. But it's okay. It's okay to set your tone for your program as well. So what we're going to do is kind of go season by season, just so you can visualize. Again, new coaches, maybe this will give you some ideas. And if you are my linguistic learners out there and you're going to try to avidly, quickly follow and take notes, please do so, but also know this is going to be sent out. So if you miss something, you'll be able to get the slides as well. You can see that. We're going to start with summers, because that's where we're at. Summer's a little bit of a different egg. The most important thing I can tell you about summer is to recharge and take care of you. You can't pour from an empty bucket. Remember, speech is what we do, it's not who we are. You need summer to recharge and regroup. Take care of you. I have the word separate up there. Give yourself a little bit of speech play production space in your world. My mom was a teacher of 35 plus years. She called it hermit mode in May. And like the first week out of this summer after school, she's like, I love you, but we're not going anywhere. I'm probably not going to cook a lot. You can learn how to cook, but sandwiches are a good thing. She needed that decompression. And once she had that week, she was ready for the rest of the summer to do all the other activities. I'm guilty of that. I don't have a full week on my schedule in May, but there's a weekend. I specifically set aside a weekend for myself in May. I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. I love my people, I need my people, but if I want to binge an entire Netflix series, I'm going to. If I want to dive into my to-be-read pile that's been sitting there since August, previous year, I'm going to do that. Separate. Give yourself some separation. And also encourage your kids to separate. I had a freshman this year. When I write my book, our district speech experience is going to be an entire chapter in the book. It was quite a wild ride, but I got a freshman that was involved in all of that chaos, and now is like, okay, I'm going to do duet, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and he came to my assistant coach, he's like, I think I've watched every duet video on YouTube, and I've looked things up, and I've got scripts, and my assistant, Lori Long, is my assistant coach, and she goes, great. She's like, I'm thrilled that you're excited, but she's like, if you watch every video on YouTube and you keep doing that, you're going to be sick of it by August. They don't know that. They don't recognize that in their brain. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how do you reassess that? How do you, bring that back around? How do you bring that excitement back around? Separate, recharge, take care of you. Summer's also a great time to finish one season and, finalize those things and maybe prep for the next. We've got some teams that are going to experience nationals. They're going to have that opportunity to do that. So that's finishing one season. Camps are going on. There are camps that schools put on. I'm looking at faces in the room that host camps. If you need information on that, let us know. There are clinics. Ta-da! You are here. There are clinics that happen in the summer as well. This is when my speech brain kicks in. When I go back, to the 2 days of clinic, it's like, okay, now we're ready. Let's go. But do those things as you see fit, and encourage your kids as you see fit. Create never-ending lists. I have a Google Keep thing on my phone that is just random topics, and somebody will be in conversation at supper with someone, and I'm like, oh, that would be an informed topic. Hang on. Phone goes away. But keep those lists so that way you don't have to carry it. Set it aside, put it in your phone, come back to it later. Start reading scripts if you want to, if you're ready for that. Your play production brain, you are reading those scripts, but start exploring those things if you need to. You need a little more of a breakdown, you kind of look at it this way. June, nationals, camps, July, camps, clinics, those kinds of things get the ball rolling. So summer is, kind of fluid in terms of what you need it to be overall, but take care of you. Can't say that enough. And then we get to fall. And the school year starts, and everything starts, and everything gets rolling. And this is really where your season will begin. The real work begins in the fall. This is when push your kids to start reading scripts. If they haven't picked up a script and it's like October, say, hey, you should start reading these. You don't have to choose anything, but start reading. Or start having those conversations about topics. Start drafting, researching, just get the ball rolling, because it will be October, November, December before anybody realizes. So the sooner the better, just get it rolling that way. Recruiting is my favorite part of the fall. Starting to pick out those newbies, those new freshmen that you can pull in to your program, or even some upperclassmen that have been maybe avoiding you in your program for a couple of years, but you know they belong with you. Start recruiting, start looking for those kids. If your school has a basic communication class, go there. Gothenburg is lucky enough to have a Speech 1 class. I get to see every freshman at least, once during the semester. And that's my favorite part of recruitment. You need to be in speech. I do? Yeah, you do. And encourage them that way. Luckily, I have a counselor that is very engaged in that, and he talks to the incoming freshmen when they register. He says, hey, if you're thinking about doing speech, you should take Speech 1 first semester. Because then you're going to get the basics. You're going to, get in touch with Miss Clark. You're going to learn those things before the season begins. So I got a great connection there. Recruitment also means you are present at softball and volleyball and football games and one-act performances, and you're going to band concerts because you are looking for those kids in other places. Look for them to shine in other areas and go, you are an extempor, or you need to do poetry based on those things that you're doing. So, Melissa, can I bug you for a second? Talk junior high recruitment, basically? Melissa's got a stronger junior high program, so I'm going to give her the mic.
So it was just something I started this year, and I would love to give credit to whoever at State Speech said it during the lounge, because I've never thought about it before, because I thought, the way my brain is at the end of a normal high school speech season, there's no way I could do a junior high. But someone in the lounge said, I have my high school kids coach. And I went, oh. So this year I decided, okay, it's my first year at Arthur County, and so we're going to do some junior high speech. So I got it all started, just very low-key. We were just going to go to the Maxwell meet, and I kind of had 1 or 2 kids recruited to help me coach. And a week before the meet, I get a call that my dad's life flighted out. And after a few days in the ICU, I lose my dad. Life is chaos. But my team was in amazing hands because my upperclassmen went and coached my junior high all the way through that next week. I got back to town the day before that meet. We went to that meet. My upperclassmen also went to the meet to help coach, and my kids did fabulous. 2 golds and a 2nd place out of the 3 events we took. I had so very little to do with it because it was my upperclassmen in speech. And now they are invested in bringing in these newcomers coming in as freshmen, and these freshmen are excited coming in to do speech. And I've got some 7th graders who are like, oh man, I still have 1 more year of junior high. So if you think that I can't do another, 1 or 2 months of junior high speech, I would say, do it. But bring in your upperclassmen to help coach. Plus, we all know that when you actually coach something that, if you teach something, you become way better at it than if you're just learning it. I mean, if we all went back to high school speech right now and participated, we would have so many, we would be amazing. So I wholeheartedly, we went to 1 junior high speech meet. Next year, I'm considering hosting a junior high speech meet because there just aren't that many in Western Nebraska. But even if you just take your kids to 1 meet so that they give them a script, let them go feel it out, learn the ins and outs of a speech meet, and as I told my upperclassmen, just make sure they have fun. Make sure their practices are fun, and make sure that they feel comfortable going into a speech meet. They don't need to be memorized, they don't need to be perfection, I just want them to feel like they belong. And it was so worth it. I'm excited to do it again, and I'm excited to see how it will affect recruitment over the next few years. Thank you.
Next thing to talk about is balance. Some of you in the room are play production and speech coach. You already kind of have that balance in your world as well. Some of you aren't. Some of you are the sole speech coach. There's a separate play production coach as well. The most important thing is to find balance in those programs. Give play production its season. Work a little bit on the backside with your speech kids to get them going, but make sure that they get play production season. And then shift to speech season. That is also the best recruitment pipeline ever. Because one-act kids make a stronger speech team. Stronger speech kids make a stronger one-act team. It just builds and it builds and it builds. So if you are that sole person, yay, you got your recruitment down because you see those kids, you already know what's going on. If you are not the play production director, make that community connection. Work with that person. You know, get that feedback from them. Lori Long and I are constantly in conversation. She's like, hey, here's a freshman, you need them. Or, hey, here's our upperclassman that's doing something on stage that we've never seen from them before. They need to try this event. Balance is important, but also make that happen, make that connection happen. And remember, those kids do more than just speech in the fall. So go to cross country, go to softball, go to volleyball, go watch them, go recruit that way. Get them rolling, but don't push too hard. And in September, you can join us for the NSAA convention right here in Kearney to get your, brain going as well for your speech season ahead. So the fall is a lot of it. There's some kickoff events that can happen in the fall as well. If you've never done that before and you'd like some insight on kickoff events, there's a lot of us in the room that can give you some of those ideas. There are early tournaments that also happen in November. If your program doesn't do that, that's fine. Some programs don't get rolling until January, February, that's fine. But the fall is really where things begin to go. All right, we're going to give you guys an opportunity just to chat with the folks around you. Recruitment, like I said, is a huge part of it. We have a kickoff event, an official kickoff event, the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. And my children want to decorate the Christmas tree in my room. That has become the tradition. They have hot chocolate, they bring in all the freshmen that they want, we get everybody's paperwork to them, and then they go dig the tree out of my bunker and decorate before they leave. But that's part of the recruitment. Hey, come get hot chocolate and decorate a Christmas tree and join speech. However it works. So, take just a minute or two just to visit with the people around you. How do you recruit? Or if you're like, I don't know how to recruit, get some ideas. If you need, we're all adults, we said this yesterday. If you need water, run to the restroom right now, please go ahead and feel free to do that. But just a little bit of communication on the recruitment, and we'll come back and kind of look at the back half of the year. Spring, I order stacks of things that I want to read over the summer. Do I read them until July? No. But do I order them? Yes. So they're staring at me. But, do some of those orderings, do some looking up, of topic ideas, but break. Give yourself some space again. Banquets, postseason, those kinds of things. We've got postseason qualifiers for those that are experiencing nationals. That's a big part of their state experience as well. But do the spring the way that you need to separate and take care of yourself. So, big push that way is to take care of you. I really wanted to talk about celebration, but I also I want to be cognizant of our time. I just have to show you, these are my goofy humans. They love to celebrate with each other, and this was after finals were posted at a meet this year. They're like, can we go outside and warm everybody back up so we're ready to go? Go out, go into the out and enjoy it. And they do it, they lead each other, they do a mini warm-up and reinvigorate their energy. For those who are going into finals, are like, okay, can I come watch you? Can I do this? They celebrate with each other that way. So, think about how you celebrate with your kids. They're kids, they're humans, they need that feedback all the time. So, there's big picture. Hopefully, new coaches gave you some ideas. Again, these slides will be up there. If you need something, please come ask, during breaks. I'd love to give you some, some feedback on specific things that way. But from the big picture, we got to talk about the little picture as well. And little picture in my world, the biggest key to success for me and a team is ownership, getting your kids to own it. There's some heads bobbing in the room as well. Once your kids own their program, it is a game changer. Let them drive the bus. Unless you have that license and you actually drive your bus. Carrie. let them lead that energy. And once they do that, you just get to sit back. And it's a glorious thing to go, I don't really know why I'm here. It's a good thing. It's a good thing to have them want to take that ownership. That ownership is growth, that's results. And ownership can look, it has a lot of different aspects. It can look a lot of different ways. To have team captains, have team officers. My kids vote on incoming officers every spring. They're the people that they want to lead them on their team. They lead warm-ups, they are part of the decision making, they are the people that I go to. They're the ones when somebody hasn't signed up for a practice by 8 a.m. on Tuesday morning. It's the officers that are like, I got it, they're in my student foundation, I'll get them. 20 minutes later, they're in the door signing up for practice. So give your kids a chance to be the leaders. They take that ownership. Coaching each other, Melissa talked about that as well. That's the best thing in the world. Kids like to coach each other, they get invested in each other's events, they want to do that. I have, a handful of coaches that are in the district but also out of the district, and if they've got a sick kid and they text, they're like, I can't, my kiddo is sick. It's okay, I'm in advanced speech. All right, who's available for an hour tonight? I'm free, okay. Can you help me tonight? Can you come coach? Sure, yeah, I'll do that. Stick them with each other. They like to coach each other. They learn, they take that ownership. Goal setting is huge. We set goals at the beginning of the season. The Swedes set goals at the beginning of the season, but we set goals every single week. We get on the bus, they get back their ballots, and they are already contemplating what next week is going to look like. It's not a wait till Monday to get them back. We're doing it now, before the sugar crash hits on the bus ride home, but where the day is still fresh in their brain. And they have to meet with a coach on the bus and do their promos. It's a Dan Jensen word. Post-meet on-bus ballot analysis. I quiz them on it every year. What's that stand for? I don't know. Okay. But post-meet on-bus ballot analysis, we do that on the bus. Constant goal setting. What are you going to do? You need that needs to be ready for practice next week. I don't care if your practice is Monday at 3:45. We're going to practice that, so be ready to go. Make it their team. That's the biggest thing with ownership. Make it their team. Give them opportunities to be a part of this conversation. Traditions. They love it, they do it. We have this warm-up that annoys the bejesus out of me at 7:15 in the morning, but they love it, and so I'll let them do it, because they want to do that. They want to get excited that way. I'm not even in the room half the time when they're doing warm-ups, because it's their piece of the day, it's their tradition. Themes, find a theme. Make those t-shirts. Buy the crazy socks that everybody can wear. Get lapel pins. We did that one year. Our team motto is #SwedesWinYay. I say that all the time. They write all over everything. So find your theme that way. Give kids a chance to be the voice in plans and policies that you are changing. We developed something last spring that we called Sherpa duty. Because the kids said, Ms. Clark, people are they're not coming to practice early. They're showing up late. And that's messing with everything. And they're like, and you're upset, and we're upset, and it's running into practice times. They need some accountability. And so we developed Sherpa duty. You are more than a reasonable amount of time late to practice because it's icy or basketball or whatever. If you're 5+ minutes late to practice, 3+ minutes late to practice, you get to load and unload the bus on Saturday morning. You get to help your team. Be a Sherpa. Help do that. Kind of your penance that way, but it's reinvigorated. I got kids that are there like, I don't want to load the bus on Saturday morning. Be early, please. It's helpful to everybody. And it has made a huge difference in the number of late practices that we saw this year. But that was the kids, that wasn't me. That was the kids that created that. Most importantly, the family that cheers together succeeds together. They love each other, if they're in it together, if they are owning that program, it changes everything. They want to be there for each other. They want to compete individually, but for that team success. They want to be there together. And that ownership, that family aspect is great too. If you have those team captains and those officers, 9 times out of 10, they will take care of an issue before you even know about it. And you find out about it on the bus. So like, oh yeah, there was a thing with the novice and they were doing this, and I'm looking at them like, we took care of it. Perfect, thank you. Do I need to follow up? No, we're good. Which is great. That cheering piece of it, this winter when we announced our conference and district team, and a sophomore girl who had been working her tail off all season long gets on the conference and district team. The other guy on the conference and district team didn't even care that his name was on there. He went tearing out of my room to go find her in the hallway and was jumping up and down because he's like, "You made the team!" She's like, "Well, didn't you?" He's like, "Yeah, I don't care, but you did it!" So those kinds of things, those relationships are huge, and getting kids to own it together is the most important piece. The best thing